Hello everyone, so this is the 13th video of series Chess Opening Theories and part 2 of Caro Kann Defense. The first part link is in the description, so please check it out. I have explained 5 variations in that. Okay, so in this video also I will tell you about the 5 more variation. So let's start with the 6th variation. The name of this variation is advanced variation. So it starts with the move pawn to e4, c6, d4, d5, then pawn to e5, the bishop f5, knight f3, pawn e6, bishop e2, knight to e7, castles, knight d7, knight to h4, bishop g6, knight d2, pawn to c5, pawn c3, knight to c6, then knight takes bishop, h takes, knight to f3, pawn takes, and bishop to e7. Here you can see it is a very solid line to play. And one thing I like a lot about this line, like see this c6 knight, it has traveled all the way from the g8. Okay, it's not the b8 knight. Okay, and the same thing has happened here in the white's camp as well. The b1 knight has traveled to the f3. Okay, and here you can see white is already having a good influence in the center. White is having the bishop pair, but so he wants to open up the positions, but currently it's not so much opened up that he will be able to take the advantage of that bishop pair properly. Here I think black would like try to castle long and use this file to attack on white. The game is like going is currently it's very solid position, but the game could go into any direction. It can turn into dynamic once the position starts to get opened up. Okay, so now let's go back and look at the seventh variation, which is the exchange variation. So it starts with the move pawn to e4, c6, d4, d5, and here pawn takes pawn, then c takes d5, bishop to d3, knight c6, pawn c3, knight to f6, bishop f4, bishop to g4, queen b3, queen d7, knight to d2, pawn to e6, and then knight g2 f3. And after exchange of this bishop to knight, bishop to d6, and here black is challenging the white to exchange this bishop so that white will not have the bishop pair advantage. Currently white is having bishop pair, so just black wants to exchange one bishop, so there won't be any bishop pair advantage. And this is a very solid line to play, and if you are new to Caro Kann, I would suggest you to go for such kind of structures, because once you get grip into it, then you can try the all the dynamic and different variations here, and it would be fun playing it. Okay, so now let's go back and look at the eighth variation. This is the name of this variation is fantasy variation. Okay, a very nice name. So let's see how it goes. It starts with the move pawn to e4, c6, d4, d5, and then continues with the move pawn to f3, then pawn takes, then f takes e4, pawn to e5, knight f3, bishop e6, bishop to g5, bishop e7, bishop takes, queen takes, then knight to c3, bishop to g4, bishop to c4, knight d7, pawn to d5, knight gf6. Okay, this is a little bit dynamic line, I would say, because there is so much tension in the center. Pieces wise, so it's completely equal. Two knights and light square bishop versus two knights and light square bishop. Both the sides are yet to castle, and for white, it's more preferable to castle short. But I think black could go for long castle as well, depending on the position. So a little bit dynamic and new tricky line to play. Okay, so you can try this definitely. So now let's go back and look at the ninth variation. The name of this variation is two knights variation. So it starts with the move pawn to e4, c6, then knight to c3, pawn d5, knight f3, bishop to g4, pawn h3, and after bishop takes, queen takes, knight to f6, then pawn d3, pawn to e6, bishop d2, knight b d7, then pawn to g4, bishop to b4, pawn g5, then knight back to g8, h4, pawn to d4, knight back to b1, and queen to b6. Now here, one thing I like a lot about this variation is G pawn forces the black knight to go back, and D pawn forces the white knight to go back on its original spot. So it makes it a lot more fun to play, and it's very interesting to play this variation, but it's little bit dynamic, to be honest. And currently black is threatening to play takes, and when knight takes, the queen is threatening to capture the pawn. So you have to defend against it, maybe by playing a move like b3. Okay, and it's again a very fun variation to play. So now let's go back and look at the last, that is the 10th variation, which is known as it's a very hard name, Gungendize system. Okay, that's the name, Gungendize system. So it starts with the move pawn to e4, c6, d4, d5, continues with knight c3, g6, then pawn to e5, bishop g7, pawn to f4, pawn to h5, bishop e3, knight h6, knight to f3, bishop to g4, pawn to h3, bishop takes, queen takes, then knight f5, bishop f2 because white wants to keep the bishop pair, then pawn h4. Okay, this is already a very dynamic line. Here I think white wants to go a long castle, and then because already a lot of attack is coming from the black side, but always remember every pawn move creates a weakness. So I feel this structure is little bit weak, and white can try to take advantage by pushing this pawns in the future. So he should go for long castle and use his both the rooks here and place them properly to attack. Okay, but currently the position is equal, anything could be possible, any result is possible. In like all these where the lines that we have seen are theoretical lines, so all the three results are possible from there. Okay, hope you have enjoyed this video. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.